In a bid to be taken off the U.S. Trade Representative's anti-piracy watch list, the government has been cracking down on malls and shopping areas deemed to be notorious piracy havens. You know where they are. Joining us now to tell us more about this is Attorney Chester Cinco. He's a designated coordinator for the programs of the National Committee on Intellectual Property Rights. Good morning, sir. Thank you very much for joining us here in the studio. Let's talk about intellectual property rights first, for the benefit of those who may not understand what the IPR is. Please give us a short explanation.
Well, the intellectual property is any creation or product of the human mind or intellect. It may be an invention. It may be a design, it may be a mark, a book, a song, movie.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, and how does the law protect those people who come up with those creations or inventions?
Well, we have the Republic Act number 8293, or otherwise known as the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines. It took effect in January 1, 1998. So in that book, there is the rules. The rules are provided in that book, wherein in case of infringement of trademarks, copying of inventions, copyright, and other areas of intellectual property.
Okay, what is the agency that is supposed to be monitoring and looking out for people violating the Republic Act?
Well, under the Intellectual Property Code, the Intellectual Property Office of the Philippines is mandated to implement the state policies on IP. In terms of enforcement, IPO Philippines does not have an enforcement power. Yes. Okay. We cannot go after that the vendors selling pirated DVDs.
Not you directly.
Not.
Okay, we'll get into the details of that later on. So it's the Intellectual Property Office that's doing all the monitoring, taking in all of the complaints. So if there's anyone who's complaining about being his or her product or invention or creation being copied and used and sold by somebody else, we go to the IPO.
You can go to IPO, but as I've said earlier, we have no enforcement power. So what we do is we are mandated also to coordinate with other government agencies and other private sector efforts to implement and plans and policies to strengthen intellectual property rights in the country. So we can coordinate with other government agencies like the National Bureau of Investigation, the Philippine National Police, or the Optical Media Board, the Bureau of Customs. In cases we receive concerns or issues like this. Moreover, in 2008, a former president issued Executive Order number 736, creating or establishing what you call the National Committee on Intellectual Property Rights, or the NCIPR.
Okay, what does this committee do?
It's an interagency committee composed of, I think, 12 government agencies. The Department of Trade and Industry, IPO Philippines, the National Bureau of Investigation, the PNP, the Department of Justice, the Bureau of Customs, the Optical Media Board, even the Department of the Interior and Local Government. Right. National Book of the Development Board, and the Office of the Special Envoy on Transnational Crimes. Okay. So what we do is we lead this committee, IPO Philippines. We conduct regular meetings, monthly or as required. And in that meeting, we discuss these issues and concerns. We even do the crafting of the action plan for the Philippines.
Okay, in the last meeting, where are we now? What's the situation here in the country? Of course, a lot of us know where where we can get those pirated DVDs. Those areas are pretty much known to a lot of people, and a lot of people are asking, why are they still there? So the question is, could be raised to that national committee. What is the committee doing about it?
Well, fighting piracy and counterfeiting in the countries remains a challenge. We have the government agencies have their own problems, lack of manpower, lack of resources. But despite all this, we coordinate with each other. We help each other to implement the plan of the government against piracy and counterfeiting the country. In terms of the pirated DVDs, it's actually the Optical Media Board that is mandated to go after these pirated DVDs. But we fully coordinate with this board, and since it's also part of the National Committee on IPR, we devise plans and strategies on how to go after these DVDs, pirated DVDs.
Okay, we also still have a problem with counterfeit and then fake products that are coming out with those malls. In that regard, when it's the OMB for the pirated DVDs, when it comes to those fake products that are being sold in certain areas, who's responsible for that? Who do you coordinate with? We have fake shoes, fake bags.
Well, we coordinate with the brand owners because IP rights is a private right. So we need their complaints for us to act on this.
That's where it begins. When they have to file a complaint, or they have to tell you that this person or this group or this organization is copying our products and selling it for a cheaper price.
Yes, it begins with a complaint from the brand owners. In terms of those pirated and counterfeited items in the market, IPO Philippines want to stop these goods from coming in to the country. Because once it's inside, it's very hard and expensive.
So that's still the situation. These fake goods are coming from outside of the country.
Well,
or are some being manufactured here?
There are certain items that are manufactured domestically.
But there are still more coming from outside the country.
Well,
and being
about
dumped here.
85%.
Wow.
Yeah. Coming from a certain country.
And with that regard, who do you coordinate with?
Well,
and how do you stop it?
We were talking now of border control. So since the Bureau of Customs is part of the committee, so we coordinate with them. And recently, IPO Philippines signed an agreement with the Philippine Ports Authority.
Okay.
So we're tapping the police, port police, in seeking their assistance and monitoring the flow of these prohibited goods in the borders.
Okay, since that executive order was signed in 2008, can you say that we've been we're better off now? We're in a better position than when it began in 2008, with the coordination of all those agencies in fighting piracy?
Well, I can say yes. In terms of the kind of coordination we have now, in terms of the value of the seized goods, prohibited goods that since 2005 until now, we have seized around 20 billion US dollars.
Wow.
Philippine peso.
20 billion?
Pesos, yes.
Wow, that's a big amount. Okay, Attorney Cinco, we have some questions from our viewers. Can mall owners be held liable if their tenants are found to be selling counterfeit products? And what if they claim to be unaware that a certain tenant was selling such goods? There are certain malls that we know of that sell pirated DVDs, pirated stuff, fake and counterfeit products. What have you done to them? Or is the only thing you can do is coordinate with them and ask them to stop it?
Well, on the first question, if they could be held liable, first we should establish their participation in this selling of prohibited items. And we're doing something about that. I cannot just divulge the operational plans regarding this.
Okay, but you have to establish that they knowingly allowed someone to sell fake products in their stores, in their malls.
Yes.
So, but what if they say that they didn't know that this person was selling goods? If they present a paper, according to their papers, they're going to be selling imported products. We didn't know that that they were going to be selling fake products.
We already thought about that, but I've said before, I cannot divulge this specifically what the plans that we're going to implement. But we're thinking of something.
You are thinking of something.
Yes.
Hopefully something soon will come up.
That's
okay. Attorney Chester Cinco, the designator coordinator for the programs of the National Committee on Intellectual Property Rights. Thank you very much, sir, for talking to us this morning.
Thank you for, also, Ron, for giving us this opportunity to discuss intellectual property rights.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, sir. Coming up,